Good day, everyone. I am Maria Teresa H. Brillantes from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And for today, we are tasked to do our own self-reflection about this course, which is GEC3, The Contemporary World, handled by Ma'am Mary Ann Arcamo. We have here these 5 questions that we are going to answer honestly and sincerely. So we have here the first question, which is, after taking the subject, what do you understand about globalization? So we all know that globalization is indeed a very broad topic. Nevertheless, I am willing to know precisely about the facts, the informations. I am willing to explore more about it, about why it influences a big impact to us. Globalization, in my preference, is a process. It is a continuous change that affects people and their daily lifestyles. As globalization expands, the easier our lives will be. That is because we verge to make everything impossible become possible. And that's the main point. That's our touchstone. And that is my perspective, tells me what is truly the definition of globalization. Question number 2. What certain topic you like the most and why? Among all the topics that our professor discussed to us, the topic that caught my attention is the humanitarian crisis. Humanitarian crises are the events that are threatening in terms of health, safety, or well-being of a community or large group of people. In this particular topic, we are tasked to do a broadcasting where we are the newscasters in a specific country. That's why I chose Syria. Assyrian people, after a decade of war, still living in fear as of 2021. They are the one who experienced the worst humanitarian crisis in modern history for almost 10 years. Okay, let's move on to the third question, which is, what are your main concerns regarding the subject or this course, The Contemporary World, GEC3? So far, I have no concerns at all. That is because our instructor, Miss Mary Ann Arcamo, she discussed everything else vividly. Even though we are currently experiencing this pandemic, she is very flexible enough to handle the situations, the schedules, and many more. In other words, everything is in her control. Let's move on to the next question, number 4, which is, would you recommend this course or subject to be taught in college? Of course, I would recommend the contemporary world to be taught in college because it is very important to us, especially youth, to be updated, to be aware of the happenings in our world. In addition, we also have to know, not just inside in our country, but the whole world. We have to know the happenings in the whole world. Number 5 question is, what is your greatest realization on this course? For the past 6 months, first sem, I have learned a lot about globalization. That globalization itself is not just globalization, the definition of globalization, but there are a lot of things that we have to learn about it. There are a lot of things that we need to know. We have to penetrate the lessons well for us to be able to distinguish and understand it and to conclude about a specific issue. Because we are not just dwelling on our own country, we are dwelling on the whole world about the effects of globalization into our whole world. We're not just talking about the Philippines, the effects of globalization in the Philippines, but the whole world. Another realization is that we really need to educate ourselves about the culture of other countries. Because in that way, we are able to adjust to them and to keep ourselves updated. So we don't have to rely on other things because we only have ourselves. And that's the reason we have to start in ourselves by educating ourselves about the basics of the other countries, about their cultures, languages, and so on.